Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Mic'd Podcast. I'm Mike, a hairdresser of over 20 years. One of the best parts of my job is the conversations that I get to have with all of my clients. We talk about anything and everything and invite you to listen in as we get mic'd up for today's conversation. We have Tammy in the chair today. Tammy is a 53-year-old retired police officer. We talk about how someone who is only 4'11" becomes a police officer and how she became the tough as nails, take no shit type of person that she is. This episode does contain a lot of swearing, but I hope you enjoy it. Let's get down to business, shall we?
Right on.
Okay, so Tammy, where do we start our conversation today?
I don't know, wherever it takes us, I guess.
What's going wrong in the world that we need to discuss? But
God, what isn't?
Isn't that the truth? I guess I want to give people a little background about who you are and what you do and what you've done and all this stuff. So let's talk a little bit, because you're now retired.
Thank God.
But you were a police officer for how long?
22 years.
22 years.
I put 20 in, that's what I could retire at, was 20, so.
That's crazy.
Yes.
But so here's the thing that's, I think, one of the most impressive things, because how tall are you?
I lie and say with my hair stacked, I'm 5 foot, but I'm really 4'11".
4'11".
0.5. I better get that 0.5 in there.
But you were a police officer, and honestly, I've heard multiple people now talk about, like, Tammy is the nicest police officer you'll ever meet, but the second that you piss her off, she'll take you to the ground faster than anything. And I remember there was one time that you were here in the salon, and I played a joke on you.
Oh, this little bastard, I wanted to,
But I remember, because we use the same accountant. I'll tell this story again just so that people get a background of who you are. But like, we use the same accountant, and I played a joke on you saying that, like, I was really frustrated because you were like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "Not good." And you're like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "My damn accountant was convicted of something, and now I got to pay all these back taxes and blah, blah, blah." And as the conversation went on, I leaked who my accountant was, and you're like, "What? That's my accountant too." And when I finally let you in that it was a joke, the person that told me to do the joke on you says, "You just want to make sure you're behind the chair, that she can't get to you because she'll take you down." And you did. You got up out of your chair and you're like, "You motherfucker."
Oh, yes, I did.
But so as a cop, like, have you always been, kind of, I guess for lack of a better word, just a no bullshit, like you're gonna.
Yeah, I definitely didn't put up with anything. Especially being my size and working with guys, you have to prove yourself, Yeah. Obviously, they don't want to be having to take care of their partner plus whoever we're dealing with. So yeah, I always made sure that people knew who was in charge, and if I had to bring it up a notch, it was going to go all the way. It wasn't going to go just a little bit. They were going to know who I was and what not to mess around. So.
But was that like even in childhood? Because
Oh yeah, in childhood, I remember we were having a family event, and my mom's friends came down, and they had this one kid. I couldn't stand him. God, he was a little bastard. And so he said something, and I punched him in the face, gave him a bloody nose, and I let him have it. And he started bawling, and then I got scared, and I thought, oh my God, he's going to go tell his parents, and my mom and dad are going to get mad at me. So he never did go tell on me, though, so I was lucky there. But no, I did. We grew up on a farm, too, so I'd drive in the trucks. And American Fork.
Okay.
So we lived down by the boat harbor. So I had to be strong then, too, because we'd pitch hay and put it on the hay wagons and rode horses, and I'd ride cows. The little cows would put them in the little chutes. And Oh God, it was fun until my dad came one time and got after us. But so yeah, I had to be strong. And in the academy, I started training in the police academy. I started training before I even went in 6 months prior, and I ended up taking the Superior Fitness Award. So I
Really?
was, oh yeah, I did.
So what?
I did
Superior
55
Fitness-
push-ups in 1 minute, and it was like the guy push-ups. It wasn't girl push-ups where you had to go. They put their fist on the ground like this, and you'd have to go down and touch your chest up here with it. So it wasn't. And then you had to do the run in a certain amount of time. And it went by your age groups and stuff. And I think it was like, I think you had 15 minutes, and I think I did it in, I don't know. It wasn't that great. I think it was maybe 11 or a mile and a half or something. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember the push-ups because there was a class next to us, and they all just stopped. And they're like, oh my God, look at that. So it was, yeah, so I trained, and I made sure I was strong. So I kind of grew up that way, and I had older sisters, and one of them, she was a brute too. I mean, we rode motorcycles, and we did all the tomboy things, I guess you'd call it. And so you had to be strong, and we'd put on boxing gloves. And I remember one time she hit me in the stomach, and I said, don't do that. And she didn't knock the wind out of me, and I just came up, and I just went nuts on her. I hit her, and her friend's like, well, you deserve it. And I mean, I didn't stop until she was like, okay, I'm done. And then I took a cheap shot, and I hit her right in I gave her some fat bruised lips down there. I mean, I hit her right in the crotch, man. I did. I was pissed.
Oh.
So yeah, it was fun times.
Oh.
Did you have brothers?
No brothers. I'm the youngest of 4. And we had, well, one of my cop stories is this, I went to a call, and this woman, oh, she was a real pain in the ass. She was just a bitch. And she saw me and thought she could, boss me around or push me around. And she was actually in bed. And I said, it was a domestic call, and I said, get out of the bed now, or you're going how you are. And she just kept pushing her luck. And finally, there was me and another, it was my sergeant actually. And I just whipped the covers off of her, yanked her up out of the bed, and the fight was on, and I spun her around, threw her to the ground.
Like she was fighting? Like
She was
like,
pushing
"I'm not
back.
going."
She's like, I'm not going. And I pushed her to the ground, got her on the ground, cuffed her up, and she was still going at it, kicking. And so we got the leg shackles, put the leg shackles and stuff on her. And I was so mad, I guess, that I had picked her up from the handcuffs and by the legs, and there was a flight of stairs that I had to go down the house and then out and into the car. And the sergeant's just looking at me, and I got to the car, and I said, open the door. And when he opened the door, I just threw her in, slammed the door, and he looked at me, and I'm like, nope. I said, this is how it's going. And then after I calmed down, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. And he looked, and he's like, nope, good job. She deserved everything she got.
Wow.
So it was funny. So.
Well, but truly, like did you get a lot of people that they would see your size and be like,
yeah.
Because I'm telling you, for those that are watching or listening, you're strong.
Yeah, you kind of have to be. I mean, just because of your size, people don't want to take anyone serious. And then with my voice, I think I sound like Mickey Mouse. I got such a high-pitched voice, so.
Yeah, but what's your angry, like, I mean, I've never seen you angry except for that one time when you were like, you motherfucker. But like, I've never seen you, I like when I yell, like if I have my kids or whatever, I'm like, you got it. Your voice changes when you're in that anger mode. So I'm sure you've got like a more.
Your cop voice.
Yeah, your cop voice. Like.
Yeah, kind of like that cop knock. You always know it's a cop when they beat on your door. Yeah. So, yeah, I had some fun times. I mean, it wasn't always like that. Luckily that, you don't have to get that way very often, but when you do, it's nice to your partners and, know that you have it in you so that you can protect yourself and help them as well.
Why did you become a cop? Like, why? Like,
You know, this
out of
sounds
all of the
crazy.
things that-
When you get interviewed, you're asked that too, and everyone always usually says, "Oh, I want to help people," and that is very true for me because most people don't look at it like you're teaching people different things. Like the laws aren't all black and white. There's a lot of gray in them, and so when you can help someone out and teach them and help them learn and look at things differently, to me, that's helping a person, you know, or when they're down. I mean, you can have someone that wants to commit suicide and, you know, you can talk them out of it and talk them down and just find out what's going on with them in their life and really work with them to help them. I mean, I taught it was the DARE program. Now it's called NOVA. I taught that and it was good to just help kids out, and I was also a youth court advisor, and so you're helping the kids when they get in trouble, they're going to youth court, and you're helping them learn laws and stuff. So I just wanted to really help people when they were in their time of need. So it's not always you're gonna go out there and kick the shit out of someone. It's not like it's on TV or solve that crime with a fingerprint or whatever.
Wait, it's not like the movies where
Yeah.
you're yielding two guns, jumping across.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Oh,
Running in with the SWAT team like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, that's why I wanted to get into it. And I feel like I've helped, quite a few people. I still have them to this day. I remember you and you remember doing this. And I honestly don't remember their faces or their names, I should say. Some of their faces I do, but their names, I'm terrible with names. I'll remember someone's face, but not their name. So yeah, so I enjoyed it for a lot of it. There were things that I didn't enjoy. Still to this day, there's some, I guess you can call them triggers. If you see something or you get certain smells, it triggers you.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I had a lot of fun. It was a good career. It's very life-changing. It does change you. You're not the same person
Yeah.
as you were when you went in. So,
Like, obviously there's specific moments that you remember that were like, yep, I'm not the same after that one.
yeah, there are. And it's just, you can look at someone and then think that person's a decent person on the outside. And then when you have to deal with them, it's like, oh my God, they are not even the same person. They're like, it's completely different. I don't know how to explain it. Their insides from their outside look. You just would never think that a type of person could do such a crime, I guess.
So do you have a hard time like trusting people now?
Oh yeah, I am terrible with trust. Yeah, it's and that affects relationships.
I was going to ask, like, is that, because that would be, because you were in a relationship with another cop. So it's like, it would be a difficult thing to have.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there would both, but I guess that's
It's
part of the job, so.
Yeah, in most people, they don't want to be caught, so they're going to lie, so.
So do you, like, now that you're retired, do you feel like that I don't want to say you'll forget it, but do you think that will be easier to open up and to be trusting of people again, or is that forever?
No.
Life has changed?
I think it's, to me, trust it's not given, it's earned. It's kind of like respect,
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take a very special person to, I guess, kind of break that down in me to get me to trust. Because I'm always going to question and look at that kind of weird and kind of, be like, I don't know if I trust that or not. So, especially when you've been burned a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, majority of my relationships, and I'm not saying that it's all their fault, because it's not. I mean, it takes two, but I've been cheated on, so I just have a very difficult time with that. And so, I mean, to me, if you lie, you're you're a cheater and you're a thief. I just think all of that goes hand in hand. So.
Well, and I think statistically, even if you're in a relationship and somebody cheats, you know, I've heard a lot of people that have gone through like affairs or different things like that, and it's like they said they'll never do it again. It's like once a cheater, I really do. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Mm-hmm. They just find different ways to cheat.
Yes, I agree so very much with that. Yes.
But I don't know. So then, how was it? Like, what were some of the things that you learned as a cop that you were like, wasn't expecting that to be part of the job?
I didn't expect. I mean, I knew there was a lot of paperwork, but everyone seems like they expect you to wear different hats. I mean, you got to be a counselor. You got to be enforcing the laws. I mean, just all kinds of different things. And I was just like, whoa, that's just, you're helping out with medical stuff a lot,
Yeah.
And I was just like, ugh. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, you get thrown into that you weren't expecting it, I guess.
So you were still on the force when all of the defund the police stuff happened, right?
It was just starting.
Had you left?
I think I had left by then. I think it was starting a little bit, but it wasn't as bad until I got out of it. So I think it was wasn't that right before COVID?
I think it was either right.
Or
I
right.
don't remember the exact
right
timeline.
After COVID?
I think it was right after.
Yeah.
But
so I was out just because we didn't have to wear all the masks and do all that Biden bullshit. That's another. If he'd just learned to shut his cock holster, that bastard would be all right. I can't stand that man.
I love your descriptions.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, this isn't getting published, is it? The FBI is going to come knock my door down because I called him a cock holster. God.
Hey, I mean,
I should have worn my shirt.
okay.
I have this shirt that says, proud member of the LGBFJB. Let's go, Brandon, fuck Joe Biden shirt. Should have wore that.
Why didn't you wear that one?
I should have.
I mean, I appreciate you wearing a relic shirt, but like.
I should have wore that, I guess.
So clearly, he's not doing a great job. Do you think it's what's well, let's get you on this tangent. What's the worst thing he's doing right now?
Jesus, what isn't? He's tearing our whole country apart, the dumb bastard. He's a piece of shit. They just need to get him out of there and throw him in the geriatric ward. Lock him up forever.
So what would be his I'm going to flip this script on you a little bit. Let's say that tomorrow they elect you and you're president.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd have that border wall up. I would run all these foreign illegal bastards out of here. They wouldn't be able to come in here.
What do you think's going to happen for this election season?
Oh, I hope.
What's going to happen? Like what? Because there's so much stuff going on right now. Like there's so much stuff. I think the one that really pisses me off the most is that let's hypothetically, because we're still in like the pre-whatever terms, hypothetically, let's say that it does end up being what they're predicting and it's going to be Trump and Biden. The thing that really frustrates me the most is that both of them have said they're not going to debate. They're not going to get on a stage with each other, and I think that should be part of the job. I think if you're going to run for our freaking president of the United States, you should be up on stage. I would also like to see Joe Rogan moderate one of the debates. That would be... Get him up there. And let's not do like an hour. Let's do like an 8-hour debate. And do a long forum, 4 hours, take a break, 4 more hours. Let Joe Rogan have his way with him. I think he would be phenomenal.
Well, they should, but Sleepy Joe, he's not smart enough. He's not quick enough to figure shit out. And I think Trump would just eat him for lunch. And people know that. And I think that he's he'd stroke out. He wouldn't make it.
So do you think a lot of the, like, I don't know, like, I want to say conspiracy theory, but like there's so many little theories about different stuff that's happening. Do you think a lot of it is true? Like, do you think a lot of it is...
As far as the Democrats cheating or what?
Yeah, like
oh, hell yeah.
election
I think
fraud or like...
Definitely, yeah. I think that happened. I mean, every president has done something. Nobody's perfect. They're all human. But at least Trump... You know, if he's going to go out and whore around and be a he-whore, he's doing it with at least adults. He's not, touching little kids like Joe Biden and, making them feel uncomfortable, sniffing their ear or whatever the hell he does.
It's their hair he likes.
Yeah,
I
their
think,
hair, whatever
what
he
it
does. That's just terrible.
It's so gross. Those videos just make me cringe.
He's just a...
Now, isn't there there's a bunch of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff coming out? Like
The whole list has been.
They've done the whole list now.
I didn't see it. Is it out?
I know. I've been seeing a ton of memes about Stephen Hawking.
Supposedly the list has been released, but there's still some redactions. But like the flight logs are available.
So that's what Aaron Rodgers was teasing
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, and he got all offended and got pissed off at Aaron Rodgers.
Doing with Jimmy Kimmel?
He basically was joking that Jimmy Kimmel was on the flight logs, and that was why Jimmy didn't want the list released. And then Jimmy shot back and told him he was going to sue Aaron Rodgers.
So was Jimmy Kimmel on the list?
Because he put his family in danger for saying stuff like that.
Yeah, how stupid is that?
But was Jimmy Kimmel on the list?
Well, yes,
I don't know.
that makes you wonder
That would
why
be...
he got so pissed off about it.
But I mean, I'm sure Clinton was on the jet. Everybody already knew that, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like all of that. There's so much corruption, and I would love to see Washington just be started over, but it'll never happen. Like the people that have to make that choice to do it are the ones that are in power, and they won't ever change. They like the power. It has nothing to do with us anymore. It has nothing to do with people.
Well, it's all their money.
Yep.
It's how much money they can make and bring their friends in and their family members or whoever.
I still am like, what do you think about the cocaine in the White House? That's the part that I'm like, how do you not find out where that came from? Like, it's literally the most secured, monitored. There's more cameras in the White House than any other. You can't find out who brought that in.
Yeah, they're full of shit too.
That's wild to me.
They know.
They know
they have to
exactly
know.
who did it.
They're not idiots, but there's probably somebody that's, well, we know who it is, so let's cover that up because we don't want to hurt the big guy.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly.
Hey everyone, Mike here. I just wanted to interrupt this episode and say thank you for listening. And please remember to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. We need your support to keep these episodes coming, so spread the word. And now back to the conversation.
But I mean, I don't care who the president. I think you're right on. There's always something. Every president has done something.
Yeah, nobody's immune from it.
But I think nowadays, and maybe I'm wrong. I think nowadays it's getting more and more. They're really stepping a line that what America was founded on is gone.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, it's. Well, you know, they let all this cancel culture shit take over and just, destroy everything that our world, is, I don't know, it's just corrupt, and they just need to start over. That's all there is to it, and get these
So how do we start
people
it over? How do you start it over?
You need to get these old bastards out of there and get some people in there that's
Term limits.
Yeah, there you go. Term limits.
Term limits.
Exactly.
Well, and honestly, like this, I get people in here all the time that ask me, like, voting wise, who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to do this for? And it's, and I'm not going to lie. Like, I like Trump. I don't agree with everything that Trump has done or says or whatever. But when it ultimately comes down to it, for me, voting this year, it's because I feel like we live in America. We have the greatest country in the world, but we can't pick a candidate that's got a head on their shoulders at all. So the way I look at it is like, all right, Washington, I think one thing that most people can agree with is that Washington is messed up. Washington is lost. Like, it's so corrupt, so far driven by money and different things that it is gone. And what I look at is like, okay, Washington doesn't care about me. They're really trying to like just protect themselves. So who is the one candidate that Washington does not want to have in their midst? And that's Trump. Mm-hmm. They don't want him anywhere near Washington. So I'm like, look, until Washington's going to take care of me, I'm going to make their lives as miserable as I possibly can and put that man back into.
Well, they're trying,
just
just like they were saying, they took him off the ballots. How the hell can you do that when, you're convicting someone that's not even been through the process yet? Mm-hmm. That is ridiculous.
He was never even, there were never charges brought to him for insurrection or for anything like that.
See, but that's a real dangerous road, because if they do end up allowing that to happen, which I hope they don't, that means that I could go to anyone. I was talking to a lady in here the other day. She's a teacher. I said, I could go to a school and be like, hey, you're a pedophile. And she'd be like, no, I'm not. I've never, unless you're convicted at this point, like I shouldn't be able to do anything. But it's saying with that, I could go and claim that somebody is a pedophile and get them removed from their job just because I think that.
Yeah, and that's wrong.
And that's not right.
Wrong.
That's where justice definitely is not.
Yeah, that is.
So
they're overstepping their bounds with that. That's what pisses me off. They'll go by some of what the Constitution is, what fits them the best, and who they want to get in there, but they don't follow the whole thing.
Well, and then pushing it through. Like, that's a part. I'm like, no, like, let the process work. Well, we got to push it through for this.
Yeah.
No, like, the process fix the process. That's what your job is. Your job as a senator, as a, somebody in Congress, is fix the system. You're not fixing the system. You're making it work for you. And that's not how the system is meant to work.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's like 4 states that have taken, where the Democratic parties have taken every other Democratic candidate off the primary ballot and have basically said that Joe Biden is going to win the primary in that state.
See, that's...
See, but you're not giving people a chance.
They're taking away democracy.
Yeah.
Well, that's where they're cheating again. That's how they're doing it, to get some dumbass in that can. They're just going to if they let him back in, we better all be scared, because there's going to be a war.
You think there's going to be a war between who? China?
Oh, I think China's going to
Russia?
come after us. Russia, all of them, because they're not afraid of him. At least Trump, when he was in, he would say what he was going to do, and if they didn't, he would do it. Biden, no.
I mean, I definitely think there's something going on with the Ukraine thing and the Bidens. Like, no question, there's something not right there. There's no accountability. Like, we've never given that much money to anyone.
It's because it's going into that drug addict son's accounts too. Yeah, they're.
But I want checks and balances. I want people to be able to say, like, it's like any company. Like, if you're a shareholder in a company, they have an annual, like, here's where we spent our money, here's what we did, here's our profits, or here's our losses.
Yeah, that's not.
Why can't our country have checks and balances?
Yeah. Well, you have Democrats in, they're not going to.
Well, but I mean, it's everybody. Like, we haven't had a balanced budget in. I'd have to look it up as to how long ago it was, but It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, federally, I think states have done better with budgets, but
Yeah, somewhat, I guess.
so
I mean,
what-
you're always going to have some issues with. Not everyone's going to agree on certain things and be able to do everything that people think they should.
yeah.
That's for sure, but at least you could make it more balanced.
Yeah. Do you think that like the president though actually has, well, I mean, I guess there's a lot of like executive orders and things like that, but I've always thought, man, the president, here's the thing, changing the president, it might change the face of the nation, but I feel like all the corruption happens behind closed doors. I feel like there's so many people that are in these other positions that are running the show that a president just becomes the face. I think that they have control when it comes to like vetoing or doing, shutting things down through executive orders. But I think the corruption it's so deep in there. It's like a cancer.
Yeah, they need to clear the swamp. Get rid of them, like you said, term limits. That would probably help, and hold them accountable. If you're going to break the laws and that, you shouldn't be able to get away with it. You should be held accountable.
Yeah.
And
That's a frustrating one. That the law seems to not apply to certain people of power.
yeah, I remember I pulled someone over, and it was right when I first started. And I can't remember who it was. And they're like, "Don't you know who I am?" And me being a smart aleck like I was, I said, "I don't give a shit who you are. You're not above the law. You're going to get a ticket like anyone else." And then I get back to the station. They're like, "Do you know who that was?" And I'm like, "No, and I don't care." And then they're like, "You should." And I was like, "Well, I guess am I fired?" And they were laughing. They're like, "No, but just you need to watch next time." And I'm like, "Well, don't complain. They're breaking the law, and I'm doing my job. And yet people, just because they hold a high position, they're supposed to be able to get away with it."
Yeah, that's wrong.
I mean, I had a lot of people handing me their temple recommend. And I'm like, that's not going to get you out of anything. Or this
What?
was this was one of my favorite. "Are you LDS?" Well, what the hell difference does that make? No, I'm not. And that's just, that doesn't reflect on how I'm going to enforce the laws. "Well, don't you know who I am?" "No, and I don't care who you are." It was, some of the...
See, that was always my big issue when Biden got caught with the documents at his homes or whatever. Is like, okay, well, they raided Trump's place for documents. Great. But nobody ever talked about what the law was.
Yeah.
Was the law, or is it legal for a president or an ex-president to take documents to their home? It's simple. Yes or
Yeah.
no. If it's yes, great. What documents? Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
Great. Did he have those? Yeah. Great. He broke the law. If he didn't, and in Joe Biden's, it's like, okay, he has documents. He was never the president at least up to that point. What's the law? Is it legal for a vice president or a senator, if they go back that far, to take documents, classified documents, to their home residence? I've always been a very simple, like, things have to be simple. They can't be this black and white, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah,
That seems
that's-
like one of those things that it really should be simple. Just go, what is the law? But the law has been tweaked and torn and manipulated and changed, and
to whoever's in.
to whoever it applies to. It's like,
Yeah.
well, murder is wrong, but
Yeah.
this guy did
that's-
it, and therefore it's okay because we can't really approve I don't know.
Yeah, that's... No, I agree.
I think that would be probably one of the hardest things in your previous job, determining the law. and how it
Well,
applies.
yeah. Well, and then you get the people that they call you and they ask you for your help, and well, you don't know, and I know this, and I'm like, well, then why are you calling? I guess you don't need my help. And I would say that, and I'd say, okay, see, I guess you don't need my help. Or they cop shop, because they don't like your answer, and so they'll call and
Wait,
get
cop
someone
shop?
else. Yeah.
That's a thing? Like you'd call for another set of cops?
Yeah, you'd get off the phone with them, and you'd call back in, and then they'd get another officer that would. But what they don't realize is, when we do our reports, you write it in there. You talk to this person, this or that, and what their issue was, or you'd have your shift briefings, and you'd tell them this person is going to call in because they were upset because they didn't like what we had to say, so they're going to be cop shopping. I mean, it's just like with people who doctor shop for drugs. Same way.
Did you ever deal with any sovereign citizens?
No, not. There were some people, they would never tell you, though, if they were. You'd have to figure it out or know the gangs. And because a lot of them wouldn't say much. I'm trying to think. God, that's a way back. I think I had one. I don't have to give you my name. I don't have to give you my driver's license. I don't
Or
this.
they say that they don't even have to have a driver's license.
Yes.
Because they're not engaging in commerce.
Yes. I did. I actually had one now that you mention that. Yeah, they're real. We had one actually come around to the PD and filming and just trying to get us going so that they could try to file a lawsuit against us, and so we were warned about them. They're.
What was the funniest thing you ever saw as a cop? Can you share that? I mean, I don't know if that's like funniest situation that you've ever found yourself in, and you're like, what is going on right now?
I don't know if I dare share because it was more like gross things than like funny.
Okay.
I mean, you have people like pissing themselves or shitting themselves to try to get out of going to jail. But
Does that work?
No. They just get in a garbage bag and their ass gets hauled into the jail, and then they get in there and they get to. No, yeah.
Wait, you put them in a garbage bag?
Yeah, you throw
put it on like a diaper, I guess. Punch some holes through the legs.
Hell yeah, they're not getting in my car with that. Yeah, it was. But there was gross things. I mean, yeah. I can't say
So
it's bad.
So, but like at the very beginning when I said you were retired, you were like, thank goodness. Like it's just like you don't miss it, obviously.
No. I miss some of the people, and I miss, like being able to help others. But as far as the ignorance of people, I don't miss any of that at all.
Do you feel like it made you lose a little faith in humanity?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So now what are you going to do now that you're retired? How are you going to spend your time?
I just do whatever the hell I want to do every day. It's nice. I don't have to listen to anyone. I don't live in a fishbowl anymore. Someone pisses me off on the road, I give them the finger. And it's great.
Are you going to be running for president?
Hell, if I would win it, oh, hell yes. I would have fun with that. That border wall would be so goddamn high, and you'd have razor wire on that thing. It'd cut their heads off before they'd even be able to get across.
But do you think, I mean, I don't know. Like I have my ex-brother-in-law works on Border Patrol, but he's more up on the north border. Don't you think they'll just build tunnels underneath the walls? Like will the wall...
Yeah, they're going to try to get across any way they can, but again, if it were me, I'd put 220 volt underneath there and just Second they get underneath there, it kills them. They're dead. Problem solved.
Do you think that, I mean, obviously, I think we were talking about this earlier before we started filming. Do you think that, like, upping the laws, upping the antes to be more harsh, not come on in and we'll give you free health care and come on in and we'll give you this? Like,
Oh, yeah. You know, my grandma and grandpa, they migrated from Greece, and they had to go through all the proper process. So why shouldn't these bastards have to do the same thing?
yeah.
They shouldn't get away with just coming in and they get all this free shit, and you know, you get these retired military people. You know, some of them are homeless and or have mental health issues, and they don't get the help that they need. They say, yeah, they can go to the VA, but that's not really helping them, you know.
No.
But yet they're willing to help these people with out of the country come in and give them the free health care and the housing and all of that. I don't agree with any of it. And that's one thing I would stop if I was president. I'd be, nope, you don't get to come in.
I mean, any other country, you try to go into illegally and you'll go to jail or you'll go...
Yeah, look at that guy that had the accident, that military guy that had the accident, what they did to him.
Which one was that?
They had it on the news where he got in that accident and his wife has been fighting to get him back. And
was it like he was in a plane or something?
It was just on this. It was on the road, and he was driving a vehicle, and he hit into. I can't remember what country he was in. And
Well, I still remember when I was younger, the story about the kid in. Oh, where was it? But he littered in a country there where it was illegal to litter, and they caned him. I don't know if you remember, like I'll have to look that story up again. Singapore, maybe? Like, I don't remember where it was, but this American teenager littered, and they held him accountable to their standards. It wasn't like, well, you're not from here, so here, just have a pizza instead. It was, I would love to see our country uphold the law and uphold the law for everybody.
well, you wouldn't be having the problems that you have in Portland, Washington, all those areas where there's no punishments and the police are nobodies. It's defund them. There's no respect anymore. They don't have respect for anyone. I mean, people are they're just ignorant now.
Do you think that, I mean, because honestly, at this point, like, who would want to become a police officer? I mean, there's still people that are, but the numbers have probably dropped drastically.
Well, and the thing that pisses me off is they've dropped the standard too. I mean, you shouldn't drop a standard because
Like the
'cause you need
physical
'em.
standard, what standard is
some of that has been dropped, yeah, the physical stuff, but if you have a felony or if you have a misdemeanor, you know, there are some departments that are allowing them to still become police officers or a younger age, you know, to go through through the academy. I mean, you had to be 21 before you could become a cop for obvious reasons. You know, you're going into bars and you're arresting people and you're stuff like that.
Yeah.
So some of these places are just changing the standards
But are they
just so
changing the
that they
standards?
can get police officers because people don't want to. The good people don't want to do it because it's not. You know, you got the pay's not as good and.
Yeah, that is one thing. I think that police and teachers should be paid way more than what they do.
Well, they do a hell of a hard job, and I think they pay athletes more than they pay the people who matter. You know, they pay the entertainment system more than they pay the ones who should matter and should count.
Well, stop paying our senators and our Congress. Like, they're obviously not doing their job. Take the money that they're getting and give it to the people that are making a difference.
Yeah, take their whore money away from them.
Yeah. Oh, every time I pay my taxes, I think, well, I just paid for a senator to go stay at the Ritz-Carlton with his prostitute.
That's right.
That's where I feel like my money goes every time I pay taxes. And I do pay my taxes. I don't like to. And now that Hunter Biden, what does he owe? Like 1.4 million?
Yeah.
With him not having, I don't know. He obviously doesn't have to pay, or will he have to pay it? I don't know. I feel like everybody should be like, well, until he pays up, I don't have to.
And even with retired people, I have to pay taxes that I've already paid, and I'm retired. I shouldn't have to pay taxes. That's how I feel. And yet I'm still being taxed on my retirement.
Which is money that was already taxed.
Exactly, money that was already taxed. So I get to pay again. That's
Double
just
dipping.
Yep.
Got a double dip.
So, yeah, that's ridiculous.
I guess so. Here's the biggest question: how does it change? In your opinion, do you ever see like anything changing, or how does it change without? I mean, when you truly have an election, I mean, does it start at the city level, at the state level? Like, you have an election where your choices are.
Well, I think the biggest is we're
questionable.
talking about the money issue, obviously, where they're spending their money. I'm not saying raising taxes on people because that wouldn't be fair. But I think if they had a lottery, I really do. If you had a lottery, like some of these other states do, I mean, you take Nevada, they don't tax their income tax, their retirees. So I think if you had a lottery and you brought in a good amount of money, I think that's one way you eliminate your tax.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many. I would love to see political people. I'd love to see it all come back to voluntary. There's no. I'd love to see it be no. What's the word? No compensation for doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. What was it? Warren. What's his name?
Is it Buffett?
Warren Buffett. It said he could fix the problem by just simply saying, if you can't come up with a budget, you're out of a job.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. So I got to come out with a budget. Great. I don't know.
Boy, it's a good thing I got all my cursing out before these people came in.
That's good. It's good for you. Well, I guess because we're getting close, I'm going to put some product in and stuff. Is there anything else that you want to share that you're like, give us your last little like Tammy's words of wisdom, Tammy's advice into the realm of Tammy?
I don't know. Go out and have fun, and to hell with what people think.
Words
I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad words to live by.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know you're not a cop anymore, but I'm glad you were. Because
Well-
you're one of the good ones.
Well,
You're a
thank
fun
you.
one, too.
I
But,
did
you know,
have some fun. I tell you what, we did have fun.
What would you tell the cops that are still active today?
A lot of them are they're new, and they don't have the old mentality. They want to just, I'm a cop, you got to listen to me, I'm the cock of the walk.
Yeah.
You know? I would tell them that people are, treat them how you want to be treated. That's how I always lived by. I treated people how I want to be treated, and I'd always say, if you treat me bad, I'm going to treat you worse. If you treat me good, I'll treat you better. And I did. I mean, I let the people that I'd take to jail, they got to listen to whatever radio station they wanted to. They needed a drink or something, they got it before they left. If they wanted a cigarette, they got that before they went to jail. And so I just treated them like people, because everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. You don't have to treat them bad just because they've done something bad. So that's what I would tell them. Just treat people how you want to be treated.
I remember there was a client of mine, her husband worked as a district attorney, and he always said, because I'd asked, how do you get up and defend somebody that has done something so poor? And he's like, well, you can't judge somebody based on a bad day in their life. If it's happened multiple times, then you just have to be a little more cautious. But if it's the first time, don't judge them on that one bad day. Everybody has a bad day. It's just these people got caught doing what they were doing. Doesn't mean that they're horrible, awful people. So I like that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Alrighty.
And there are some people who can change
Well, I
if they
think
choose to.
I think everybody deserves a chance to change.
Yeah.
Well, Tammy, it's been an absolute blast.
Yep. You're always good, Mike.
You're one of my. You're so fun. It's yeah.
Well, thank you. I enjoy it.
Well, and then I guess I'll see. Hopefully we'll see your run for president banners.
Oh yeah,
soon.
you guys are gonna come be
Yeah.
on the.
If not 2024,
cheering right behind
we'll go
me and-
2028.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
We'll see how 2024
This little
fares.
4'0.5" Greek lady.
Hey, it'll be all right.
Serving
in my
this
book,
country.
so. All right. Well, we're done. That's
All right.
it. So
Well, thank
thank
you.
you.